It's always such a pleasure to see you.
It's good to see you.
I know you're stalking me last time Dubai, that this is LA.
I've been following you pretty much everywhere. Yeah.
It has to stop.
There's things called restraining orders.
I know. Can you imagine if I had one for you?
You should just do it.
Well, Leatherheads, another one of those films you direct, and I enjoyed it very much because it really felt like the sense of humor was spot on. Is that great for you, you know, when you feel that you make people laugh the way you would laugh?
Yes, I wanted to do a film that was sort of a grown-up comedy, although there are very immature things that happen in it. But, you know, some comedies now are just, let me, you know, we'll gross you out or we'll do something. And I thought, let's do one that sort of reminds me of the comedies from the 30s and 40s that really do make you laugh and are funny without having to be, you know, filthy all along. I'm not a moralist, but I thought it'd be fun to see one like that.
Absolutely, it's quite nostalgic as well. It has old Hollywood feel to it, 1920s feel to it. Do you feel nostalgic about that time yourself? Is it a period of time that is special to you?
I do love that time. I like the time, you know, of the 30s and 40s, which is basically the style, and the 20s is a really great, you know, just before the Depression, sort of an exciting time.
Yeah.
I look back at those times and think of them, because I wasn't around for them, with a nostalgia that I'm sure I'm making much nicer than it was. But I do like it. It's certainly fun for filmmaking.
Absolutely, because visually it's so picturesque that you just turn up on a set like that and you feel, yeah, half the job's done, right?
Well, and you know, once you put everybody in hats, and you know, suddenly the whole world looks different when you're all dressed. You know, you go to a ball game and everybody's wearing a suit, and they did. It looks very different. It changes sort of your outlook.
Well, compared to Good Night and Good Luck and Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, you had smaller roles in them. So you're directing yourself in a big part. It's a little bit like that. You're just looking, it's a bit schizophrenic, isn't it? You're very hard on yourself. How does that work?
I'm very hard on myself.
As you should.
As I always have been. You know, it is very schizophrenic. It's a little narcissistic. It's a little bit of, it's a little ego-driven, I suppose. Yeah. But, you know, I knew that it was a part that I wanted to play, and it was a part that initially I was going to play with Steven Soderbergh directing. And then I thought, you know, once I was directing it, I really thought that the trick for me was going to be about how I direct the other actors while I'm acting in the scene with them. And that was the hardest part.
You have banners like on your chest that no one sees.
I just hold up things going, say it like this. It was hard. That part was tricky, but that's because, but because I had really wonderful actors like John and Renee, they made it very easy for me to direct.
Well, you wouldn't just do a brainless comedy because you're somebody interested in a lot of themes. There's media, there's political views in this, there's a lot of, you know, subtext that lie beneath, you know, a simple story about football. Is that important to you? Yeah,
you always have to have it. It can't just be sort of a, you know, a one-dimensional piece. You know, there has to be some layered ideas to it. But you want to sneak them in. You don't want to hammer people in the head with them. I always find that, you know, when I was writing Good Night and Good Luck, the reason I was doing it was because I thought that the media was losing its voice or was censoring itself from talking about the war. And I used that in the same way that Miller was using The Crucible to talk about McCarthyism. I thought you can't talk directly at it. You have to talk on the sides of it. And this one seemed to, you want to, if you're going to put things in, you want them to be sort of over on the side.
It's true. Is it stories you find easily in that sense, or you just take a theme and then a good script? And...
Well, what you do is, this one was an outline. There was 3 characters that I really liked in a script that was written in 1993. But there was never a story. We hadn't ever nobody had ever figured out a story. So I spent about almost a year, but really the last 4 months of it in Italy, basically, trying to figure out, watching all the old films, the Preston Sturges films, and trying to figure out what I could make, what the story could be out of this. And actually, when John Kerry was getting swift-boated, was what gave me the idea to have our kid have a secret. And once I had that, I knew what I was going to do.
Absolutely. Secrets are always the very entertaining things. Well, what do you think resonates internationally in a story like that? I mean, it's not a football movie.
No, it's not.
That has all those themes we spoke about. International audiences will respond to it. What you're expecting?
Well, you know, I don't know. It's a funny thing because obviously it isn't a football movie, although, you know, who knows how people sell things. And football wouldn't sell very well overseas. But it really is an old-fashioned romantic comedy in the old-fashioned sense of the word. And if people want to go see that, the fun part for me is that it's, you know, guys will enjoy it because it doesn't feel like you're just going to see a sappy romance, and I think girls will enjoy it because it has the romance and you know, the football doesn't bother them. It doesn't feel like football as we know it. It feels like rugby. You know, it feels like guys just punching each other in the nose and stuff.
Well, Rene enjoyed working with you, obviously. He's so great because he doesn't take himself seriously, but he's very serious about his craft. You know, he's very bubbly, and John enjoyed beating the hell out of you.
Yeah, he did. Well, you know, I'll tell you the truth. I let him beat me up because obviously, because clearly I could take him in a fight. I think you know that. Because he's he's tall, but he's very slow. I get the first shot in, and then I run like crazy.
That's good.
I'm just talking about Rene. John's a whole other problem.
That's true. Well, I had a laugh just by myself yesterday because I was just going through my questions and I was like, you're a messenger of peace now and you're the sexiest man alive, so that makes you
the sexiest. Yeah, it does. It actually makes me the sexiest messenger alive.
That's true.
Which is, you know, that's hard to do. The bar is not raised all that high if you think of the other messengers of peace. The Dalai Lama, he's not sexy.
He's not sexy.
Have you ever seen Gorbachev in like a Speedo or anything? No, you haven't. Lech Walesa, you want to see him in some sort of laying on some sort of a fur carpet? Like, no. No, I am the sexiest messenger alive. I'm going to hold on to that one.
Is that working? Is peace spreading enough? I mean, it's a serious craft, obviously, but you always have the right balance into putting celebrity in it for the right amount of time for something like that to work in terms of messenger of peace and what you're trying to achieve on that level.
Yeah, that one was basically because to work with the UN, which would get me visas into places that I couldn't get in on my own. I couldn't get into Darfur. Obviously Bashir wasn't going to give me a visa.
Exactly. You just snuck in with your father and his mom.
Yeah, exactly. But you can't get. You want to be able to go into El Fasher and Nyala and places like that, which I was able to do with the UN. And it's also you want to remind people of the importance of the idea that we as an entire world are going to own, that's the only way we're going to solve these huge problems. We're not going to be able to do it individually or unilaterally. It's just not going to happen. We've tried that before and proven how poor that is. So that's been a big issue for me. It's just trying to make it the world doing it, and sticking up for the UN in that way.
Well, a final question about how you're living the political, candidacy at the moment. Is it an interesting time, you feel, politically for America?
It's incredibly interesting. It's, I'm a good friend and a big supporter of Barack Obama's, but so I'm a bit concerned the direction we've headed in the last 2 weeks because it's become much more divisive. But I'm hopeful that by the end of all of this, we're going to have one amazing candidate in Barack Obama, because he is the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
My last question is the superficial one. Is it important for the women in your life to share your political views?
Yes. I don't know. I've never dated a Republican.